Welcome to the MWA podcast, the space where we celebrate the incredible Muslim women who are shaping our communities, breaking barriers, and making history. My name is Saada Mahmood, and I am your host. Joining me on today's podcast, we have the incredible, the dream-setting Aisha Desai, the founder of the Ramadan Lights. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being stuck in traffic, joining me
London,
and looking so pretty. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, it's lovely to be back in London and here with you and your inspirational team. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You said back in London. Why have you left us and where have you left us for? Who has stolen your heart?
I recently moved to South Africa, to Johannesburg. So I've been living there for the last 2 months. But that doesn't stop me from coming to my home.
You're a true Londoner,
yeah, of course.
But South Africa's gorgeous. I would love to even visit. I'd love to even be close enough to smell it.
I have a place to stay now. I've got a lovely apartment there. So
we've got you on camera, babe.
Yeah. No.
So Aisha, tell me a little about yourself, your background. What's your family life like growing up?
So I grew up in London, born and brought up in North London. Love North London. Never thought I would leave North London, but I have. And my parents are of South African origin. They grew up there and then my mum moved to Ireland to study and my father came here to study and they've been here ever since they met, got married and have been here ever since and had my sister, my brother and myself. And I don't know what else to say right now.
I have a question.
I forgot what else there was.
I have a question. So was mum and dad married when they came from South Africa or they came from South Africa separately, didn't know each other? Mum was in Ireland, dad was here in London and the South Africans met?
Yeah. I believe the story went, and mum, please don't get angry with me if I've gotten this wrong. My mum's uncle said to my father, they were studying together, and said to my father, oh, I've got a really lovely niece in Ireland for you to meet. And then my dad went over to Ireland, met my mum, and that was it. And then they were sending like letters to each other. I think my dad must have sent her like a little teddy bear or something. That's what my mum says. And I've never seen these letters, but and then they got married. They went back to South Africa to get married, came back, and then have lived in London ever since.
Oh, that is a beautiful story.
Yeah, they're amazing.
So why is taking you to South Africa?
I recently got married. Finally, I'm actually very proud. You know, people, society, you know, they say so many things about what age you should get married at. And as a woman, you're getting older and whatever. I'm 33 and I'm really proud that I got married at this age. And even if it was later, I'd be very happy. But I took my time to find someone. I definitely didn't settle. I could have settled many times. And alhamdulillah, I'm very grateful for the man I've met. He's an amazing person. And so, you know, it takes a real good man to move me out of London all the way to South Africa. So, yeah, I'm really happy. And
we're so happy for you. You deserve it.
You.
Listen, enjoy yourself, bask in the sun, get all that vitamin D.
Yeah. It's needed, man. It makes a difference to your day.
It makes a huge difference.
It really does. Like waking up with sun there, it just like, you want to jump out of bed, you want to make use of the day, and it's a mindset shift, you know.
It's so true. It just makes you feel better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. So,
all right, so how did the Ramadan Lights come about, Aisha? I want to know, like, it was an idea and then what happened?
So yeah, it was an idea. Like I spent a lot of time in the Middle East, and Ramadan there was amazing. Like the spirit of Ramadan, like everyone's out till late, and kids and families, and everyone's eating, having their suhoor out, and there's lights everywhere, and it's a really vibrant atmosphere. Growing up in the UK, obviously we didn't see our faith represented anywhere, right? I remember my mum at school, she would make a conscious effort to go and do an assembly for Eid and get the few Muslim families or mothers that were there at the school to come together and do like an Eid assembly.
Incredible.
So yeah, it was really amazing. So but other than that, I never really, and at home, our faith, I never saw our faith being represented, but we loved going to see the Christmas lights growing up. London's magical in Christmas, right? It lights up in Christmas.
It looks beautiful.
So during COVID, I'd said to my sister, we were sitting around the table and we were like, there's nothing for Ramadan. I'm not doing much at the moment because it's COVID. And at that time, I had just left my job and I was looking for a new one, but obviously COVID hit. And I was like, let me just try and see if we can raise some funds to build some sort of a structure, starting with North London, with, of course, the vision to one day be on Oxford Street with hanging lights saying Happy Ramadan or Ramadan Kareem or whatever it is. With no thought that 3 years later we would be there. I thought it would take ages to get there. So started in North London, where I grew up in Finchley. On the A406, there's an area called Henley's Corner, and everyone sees it. You know, it's a really busy road.
Normally they put the lights there for the Jewish
for Hanukkah.
Hanukkah lights, yes.
They have a Hanukkah and a menorah up there for Hanukkah, and they also have a Christmas. They sell Christmas trees there in the corner too. So it's a pretty busy corner, and also it's a busy road. And so I fundraised through the community. Anyone that I knew through my little North London, Northwest London community just made a GoFundMe page and sent that out, and was raising funds, thinking, you know, it's going to be hard to raise funds for a Ramadan structure. People don't really know what that is, and especially like during Ramadan, people usually give to NGOs and charities. But you know, people were donating and managed to raise £17,000 within a few weeks.
Wow!
Engaged. I wanted this to be fully community led. So anyone that I was working with, I wanted to make sure that they were from our community. So engaged a creative agency to actually design it, and they came up with a really cool concept of the phases of the moon and putting it on this 8-meter wide structure and this huge thing with loads of LED lights and stuff. And then it came to the question of, what should we write? Do we write Ramadan Kareem? Do we write Ramadan Mubarak? Or do we write Happy Ramadan? And we sat and thought about this for a bit, and I chose Ramadan, Happy Ramadan, so that it is inclusive, so that everyone, not just Muslims, understand what this means. And then eventually, once Ramadan becomes a part of, you know, everyone's vocabulary, Muslims and its neighbors, then everyone can, you know, then we can start using those terms and those words.
So true. So, you really thought about it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they would have been annoyed at that, right?
100%.
Saying Ramadan.
Yeah, exactly. And I really didn't want to attract any negativity to this. I didn't really think about I didn't think about the negativity until someone brought it up to me and said, oh, you know, what if you get any pushback? And I was like, oh, this is just a structure on the corner of a road. No one's really going to care. It's not that deep. People care. People always care. That's the problem.
They always care.
Yeah, but you know, alhamdulillah, the response was the positive response was far greater than the negative, and you know, I called the council a million times. I called this person, I called that person. I was like, who on earth is going to give me some response as to how on earth I can do this? And believe me, I mean, I called and called and emailed and finally got to someone who said, okay, you know, let's see what you want to do. And we need all the plans and the approval process. And there's a whole thing that goes around it. And eventually did it and got it up in North London. Did a little switch on with family and friends.
Wow.
And it really just, it blew up from there. I mean, from that small structure in North London, we had like hundreds and thousands of views on Facebook, on YouTube, over Instagram. Again, something that I wasn't planning for. I wasn't trying to make this a social media thing. It just organically happened that way because I think people had never seen something like this before.
And I think it happened like that as well because that wasn't your intention.
Yeah.
Do you know? I think because your intention wasn't this whole fame. I want everyone to see this and I want everyone to... No, it was exactly as you said. I want it for the community, by the community.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And that's exactly why we also why I decided to fundraise through the community, because even if you were to donate just £1, you feel like you're part of that representation and in a really positive way. We've never done something like this in the UK, so it's a start of something really great. And then after that, obviously, people started seeing it, and I started to get interest, funders wanting to back the project and stuff.
They started approaching you now?
Yeah.
So once you went viral and you got out there and everyone started seeing it, so they started approaching you, okay?
Yeah. So it started gaining some traction and started speaking to a few different organizations and stuff. And then, I thought, okay, what's the next step here? We've got it in North London. The next step for me is to take this structure and take it to Trafalgar Square. Trafalgar Square is like, the place to be in London.
Yeah, you've got the lights.
You got everything going on there. And when people globally think of London, they think of Piccadilly, Trafalgar Square, these places. So I was like, okay, I need to get it into Trafalgar Square. Again, went through all the calls and the emails and didn't get responses, but I kept on going because I was like, no, I've done this in North London. I have to get this in Trafalgar Square. By hook or by crook, I'm going to get it done.
But as you said, you started off by saying that how you wanted an Oxford Circus, but you thought it was going to take some time. So what was it that made you feel like, okay, it happened. You guys allowed me to do it in North London. And now next year we're going for the big. What made you jump? What made you be like, I want to go for the big ones?
I think because I had the vision of one day being on Oxford Street, it was like, how can I get there? And what are the steps I need to take to get there? This has now gained traction. So what is the next thing I can do before I get to Oxford Street? Because it had such such a positive response. I then was like, oh, there's something here that we can do and that we now have the money to do, and we have the connections to do. And so I was like, let's just see. And I had it in me that this needs to happen now because this response was so great. People were so happy with it. People were so excited by it. And let me tell you, it was not like there was no... Obviously, I'd want to be in central London. I never thought it would ever happen, really. It was a vision that I never thought would happen. But just because of that response, I was like, whoa, this is man. I was doing a small little thing in North London. And it just kind of took off from there. Took it to Trafalgar Square. I wanted to obviously have it in Trafalgar Square for a month. They didn't give me that permission, but they said, look, we can give it to you for one day. Well, I tried for then 2 weeks. They said no. I said 1 week. They said no. I said, okay, the first 3 days. They said no. They said, we can give you 1 day in collaboration with the Open Iftar.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, do you know what? You have to take what you can get, right?
I take what I can get. A win is a win.
Yeah, exactly. It's Trafalgar Square. So we put it in Trafalgar Square. And let me tell you, when that went up in Trafalgar Square, I remember my mum was there and I was there with my North Face puffer. You could see it in all the videos. I was like, I really need to stop wearing this jacket. My sister was like, this is really annoying. You should really change your jacket. I teared. And I cried because I was like, this is such a huge achievement.
You're making me want to tear.
It was mad. Even when I think about it now, because I had this incredible, huge structure that reads Happy Ramadan with the phases of the moon in front of the National Gallery in the heart of London. Like, that's crazy. This is huge for Muslims.
Massive.
And it was just like, and so I just took it all in for a minute. But this is before Open Iftar had happened and the mayor came down and took all his videos and stuff. I was like, this is a real huge achievement. I really need to be proud of myself because it's not that simple.
It's not.
And by the way, this is all voluntary. I have a full-time job. So
who are you?
So, it was important for me to do. I'm very committed to my faith and committed to my community and wanting to build it in the UK, build us in a positive way and give us some positive light, pardon the pun, because we always get such negative things said about us in the press and everything. So it went there. And then after that, I mean, third year, we got to Piccadilly.
And that was last year's one?
And that was last year's one.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so that was the first. Actually, sorry, it's the year before last.
It was the year before last?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we are now...
Third year
this
in
is the
Piccadilly.
third year in Piccadilly.
Okay.
So last year we were in Oxford Street and Piccadilly. This year just Piccadilly. And obviously the first year was the first time ever in the heart of London, iconic Piccadilly, having the hanging lights. And again, like when we were deciding the design of those lights, it was like, okay, what can we do other than like the geometric shapes and patterns, which are quite hard to do and show, which it's doable, but it was I thought, let's keep the phases of the moon still going, because people are associating that with Ramadan now, the phases and stuff. And obviously we follow the lunar calendar. And then it was, okay, lanterns. Lanterns date back to, I don't know what century, Egypt. And lanterns you see all over the Middle East during Ramadan time. So let's put some lanterns in. That can tell a bit of a story. And obviously the stars. And it was so beautifully done by the company who made it. I mean, they were amazing. And when that went up, I mean, that was really something.
That is incredible. Do you know, like, I'm just thinking in my head, it's like, I have a saying, well, it's not my saying, but there's a saying that I kind of stand by of, if you don't ask, you don't get. And you're like the poster child of that. Like, if you don't ask, you don't get. That's incredible. From literally having an idea to being like, I'm going to make this happen. And actually putting in the time, the effort. And even when the no's came, because as you said, you were doing it for weeks, even when the no's came, what made you keep going?
I think when as a person, I think when I have something in my head, I have to make it happen, and I will make it happen. And I thought that, you know, this community-led initiative, it's such an important thing. It's something that we didn't know we needed within our community, and it's already made such a big impact. I need to keep going because people are feeling happy, people are feeling represented, people are taking their families and their kids to go and run around the corner of on the A406 on the corner of Finchley. Like, it's such a powerful message that it's showing, you know.
Yeah, it's
and
so massive.
Exactly. And you know, my niece, she is 6 now, but she was speaking to her friend. My mom overheard her the other day about, oh, my auntie does the Ramadan lights, and I can't wait to see the Ramadan lights. And that's like, imagine that from a 6-year-old, now she's growing up to see these things. It's like,
my kids were so gassed when I told them I was coming to interview you. I said, do you know where I'm going today? It was like, they were like, oh my God. And Ebian went yesterday, so she was able to take the pictures and everything, and I showed it to my kids. So no, what you've done is just incredible. Incredible.
You know, like one of the most powerful things that came out of the ones on Oxford Street were, in Piccadilly, sorry, were, you know, I don't like to say non-Muslims, but our neighbours stopping and asking, and tourists, you know.
They were. I was there on last year's one, and literally people were just stopping like, what's going on? What's going on? What's happening? And we're like, look, the lights.
What is Ramadan? And then you will then tell them what Ramadan is. You know, as a Muslim, this is an important month for us. Gets the conversation going and opens it up. And, you know, if they didn't know about it, now they know about it. And they think that they're a really beautiful thing to see.
They are. Because I think London is such a melting pot, right? It's such a melting pot. And I feel like, I think it's thanks to your lights. Is that why Ramadan's in Asda and Tesco?
Well, but you're right. You see it everywhere now.
You see it everywhere now, which is fantastic, because now it makes us feel like we're included. We've been here for so long, you know, we built it too.
Exactly. That's what it is. We are such a big part of the makeup of British society. So we should be represented everywhere. And, you know, Asda, Tesco, great, but it needs to be everywhere. It needs to be in more places.
What were some of the challenges you faced?
There were obviously, you know, so obviously its first year in Piccadilly, it was this kind of global, viral craziness. Huda Beauty was posting it. Khabib posted it. I mean, everyone was posting it. I was gassed. I know. I was, oh my gosh, Huda Beauty, this is crazy. You know. So with that comes all the followers and messages and this and that and comments and stuff. And those sometimes are hard to read because, and like I said, look, the 99% is amazing response, but that little bit of negativity, you always take that as, you know, so it's easy to get lost in that. But that was difficult because, you know, seeing people write things like, oh, you're not wearing a hijab, how are you promoting Islam? But I'm not promoting Islam. The lights are saying something. I'm just doing it. I'm just executing. I'm just a facilitator. Or I had mad comments like, oh, you should go and do some charity. You know, I will do charity when I do charity. My charity, I don't need to.
This is my charity.
But
What are you talking about?
this is also my commitment to my people. So reading things like that is difficult. Last year, there was this whole Easter clash. I don't know if you saw. The far right started going mad at, how is this? How do we have lights up here in Easter? What is this country becoming? This is turned into a little Mecca and la di da di da. It's funny.
I know we're talking about challenges, but I feel like that's a win.
Yeah. You're right, actually. Sorry, that is a win. Rile them up the wrong way. And
exactly.
You're right, actually. Sorry, that is a
go
win.
back to Ramadan. No, we're here now.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And I think the biggest challenge for me was, I guess, not having agreements and contracts in place. I'm on my own, and I was always a one-man band. I had the idea, I had the creative vision, and I had the execution, all of which I did. But it's difficult for me to speak about. But whatever you do, especially as a woman, it's really important to have things in place to protect yourself, whether that's contracts, agreements of what both parties want out of it. All I can say is just protect yourself and just make sure.
What would you have done differently?
I think I definitely would have had contracts and agreements in place just to make sure what both parties were satisfied about what's coming out of it. The problem is with the Ramadan Lights project is why I didn't feel to put any of these things in place is it's a community project. This is a community project led by the community for the community. And so, everyone should be,
everybody should be here for the community. You thought that everybody would see it like that.
Yeah.
Everybody would feel the same way you felt.
Yes, exactly. And look, the most important thing for me, I think, is that I set out to do this to inspire others to continue it on. I can't do it on my own. It's hard. And, other organizations are continuing it. And I'm really happy because that's what I set out to do,
Aisha, are you telling us that the Ramadan lights are no longer yours? What is you telling us, babes?
No, Ramadan Lights will always be in my heart, and I started it, and I will always continue to think of new things that we can do that haven't been done before, and so I'm not stopping, but the physical lights are still there for everyone to enjoy. I've taken a step back to really think about what the next step for the Ramadan Lights, I guess, organization, what the next steps for me. And for me, I'm an ideas person, I'm execution. So now the physical lights are done. They look amazing. Others are continuing it. And now I'm thinking of what's the next best thing we can do, find that funding and keep going. And I won't stop.
No, you won't. Because without you, it's you. Do you know, as you said, you're the one that's the ideas and the execution and the hard work and all of those things. Do you know what? A lot of the time, because I find that I'm like that as well, where I think everyone thinks like me, right? So when you're going into things, like even with the awards, we were talking about when we were walking from the car park, weren't we? It's like you come across so many people that you're thinking of things so innocently, that you're bringing it out, that we're bringing out these awards, but then you don't know other people's intentions, do you know? But alhamdulillah, with us, it's like, Allah quickly shows us that. And for me, I retreat real quick. But I feel like, what you did was fantastic. They can never take that away from you, ever. Yeah. And now it's on to the next.
Yeah, absolutely. And and like we said when we were walking through the car park is, Muslim women or women, whatever it is, we all have to be there to support each other and lift each other up. It's so easy, to drag someone down, but that's not, we need to support each other. We need to be together to make real powerful change and an impact, and also feel like we're all supported. Ramadan Lights, I'm so lucky that I have my family because they're an incredible support, but it's, I think women have to stick together. We have to support each other. We have to help each other. We have to learn from each other. and learn from our experiences. And so that's why I salute what you're doing with MWA and the podcast and everything that you're doing, because it's not only just inspiring, you're bringing women together, you're bringing Muslim women together, and such a talented group of people that probably would have never met before. We would have never crossed paths before. So I commend you and your team, your incredible team, because I mean, it's just amazing. I'm honored to be a part of it, and yeah.
But you know what? There was something you said as well. You were like, oh, it was basically you're a one-man show, right? Trying to do it all together. But myself, I wish we had a team. My team is myself and Ebian, you know? So I feel like even with that, it shows that, because when you start something, you feel like you need a team, right? You just showed that you were working full time, you had an idea, and it was not an easy task. And you completed it. Do you know? You went into it and you did it by yourself. So that in itself is just so inspiring, because we go around all the time thinking that we need a partner and we need this. But to see you actually create something that is so groundbreaking. Like, babes, you left a legacy. You're leaving a legacy. No matter who decides to press that button, you left us that legacy.
Yeah.
Like, Allahumma barak, babe. Congratulations.
Thank
You know,
you.
seriously.
Thank you.
You're mentioning your family. Who's been your role model? Who's inspired you?
Oh God, that's such a deep question, because honestly, every single one of my family members, my father, my mother, my brother, my older brother, and my older sister, each and every one of them inspire me every day. They are honestly like they're all just pure souls and incredible human beings. And, you know, alhamdulillah, I've been blessed with them, and we have such a tight bond. You know, we're not the most expressive at all. We don't sit there telling each other how much we love each other, and all kind of awkward sometimes, but we show up for each other. You know, I mean, I don't show up for them. I'm the youngest, you know how it goes.
Do you know what? Before you even said that, I was going to ask and I was going to guess. You're the youngest, aren't you? Are you the baby?
I'm the baby.
Aww.
And I'm really the baby. But, you know, I mean, I cannot tell you how incredible. They're incredible human beings, and they are just my inspiration every day. My mum is just insane. I mean, all of our mums, you know, are just amazing. Every day I look at her and I'm just like, well, how the hell do you do it, man? Like, it's
I met your mum. She's gorgeous. Yeah. Gorgeous.
And she's just non-stop, and she does everything for all of us, puts, you know, everyone before her all the time. And I'm just like, Mum, you need to rest. You also need to take a bit of time to yourself. But each and every one of them, they're just, I mean, my brother, he's just, I have no words for any of my siblings. They're just amazing, and I'm very grateful and very lucky to have them.
So there's no words to even describe it.
I really can't. I don't even know how to thank them, you know. I wish there was a way for me to thank them every day, but I just don't know what I could do.
That's what it is right there, though, isn't it? That's what's created Aisha. Yeah. It's like you have all of these different pillars that you're able to stand on that support you. Yeah, and that's incredible. And I think that's what shows, regardless of what happens, the light that shines from you, Allahumma barak. Yeah. You can tell you've got, you can tell you're very well secured, very well protected. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. I'm very lucky, you know.
You are. That is a huge blessing. You definitely are. What can we expect from you, Aisha? What are you cooking up now? Miss Ideas girl. Or should I say Mrs.?
Yeah. It's still really weird to know that my whole wife. I have some things in the pipeline. I wanted to do it this year, but it was just too crazy with the wedding and just life and everything, moving and stuff. So, you know, I am in South Africa, but that doesn't mean that my work in London stops. Like I said, I'm very committed to it. So I will always be doing bits and bobs. I'm here today.
Yes, you are.
In this short little trip I have, always have time for you. Yeah, I've got ideas. I don't know that I want to spill them too soon, just in case.
Fair enough.
You know, Yeah.
I'm like that. Just
Yeah.
in case it doesn't happen.
Just in
or
case
just in
it
case it
doesn't
happen the
happen.
time that I expect
Yeah.
or whatever.
But inshallah, next Ramadan. Well, sorry. Firstly, and this might come out way after, but we're still I'm going back to the OG Ramadan Lights in North London. So if anyone is going past the North Circular, stop by and see them. We've got a new little structure coming up.
Where I went past? Oh, it's coming up.
Yes, coming up. Hopefully, inshallah, tomorrow. But I was like, I need to go back to where it all started.
Grassroots.
And that community have been asking for it, and I didn't do it last year, and I felt really bad. So we're putting something up this year. So Northwest London, and the whole of London. You'll be able to see it soon, inshallah. It'll be a new structure coming up, but really pretty and really nice. You can stop.
Amazing. Is that coming up tomorrow?
Hopefully, inshallah, it's coming up tomorrow. If all goes well and power goes well.
And tomorrow is what? Friday the 28th.
Yeah. So
Friday the 28th of Feb.
Friday 28th of Feb. Hopefully we'll switch them on at Maghrib time tomorrow in preparation for Ramadan. That should be starting.
Are you switching it on?
I'll be switching on, but it's a very, it's a little thing.
It's not a little thing.
You're right, actually, yeah. But I haven't organised, and it's kind of just like whoever's around, whoever wants to come, and we'll have a little switch on there. But I'm really excited for that. And then, yeah, I've just got some other ideas for next Ramadan. So I'm really hoping, inshallah, that we'll be able to do that next Ramadan. And I also know there are a few other countries that want to do Ramadan lights next year. In Copenhagen, a group of really incredible women, they're all sisters, managed to get funding. They put up lights in sorry, not Copenhagen, Cologne.
Oh, Cologne, is that in where?
Big difference. In
Germany. Okay.
Yeah. They have put up lights, and they're also doing a huge iftar, and they're an amazing bunch of women. So beautiful. They invited me down last year. That was amazing.
So did they reach out to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, man. Like I said, it's like connecting
it's the community.
Women that I would never, probably wouldn't have ever crossed paths with.
And you having the blueprint, do you know?
Yeah.
It was such a massive dream that nobody thought, because like, do you know when you walk past, you don't think it could happen. Like, of course you would want it, but to see in action, you must have ignited so many people to be like, no, why don't we have it? Yeah.
And I do want to do it in New York.
Wow.
I think New York is, it's important to break barriers, right? So
agreed.
I'm thinking about the places now that we can do it where it's breaking down those barriers. In New York, is the Big Apple, the big city, and America's crazy at the moment. So why not do it there?
Why not do it? Listen, I like it. And if anyone can do it, Aisha, is going to be you. Inshallah. If anyone can do it, I believe in you. I do.
You guys can come down to New York for the switch.
Listen, we'd follow you anywhere. We'd follow you anywhere. Take us.
So that's the plan, New York, and then another new project that I'm working on at the moment.
Listen, so basically, keep your eyes peeled. And where can we keep our eyes peeled for you?
Keep your eyes peeled on Ramadan Lights UK,
nice.
Instagram. I think that's all that I'm on. I'm really bad at social media. I should be better, and I will be better. But yes,
yes,
if I'm
you
in
will.
there, DM me. I'll speak to you.
Good. So they can DM you?
You can DM me, of course. I will respond. I might take a bit of time, but I will respond.
I'll get there in the end. Yeah. And tell us, what advice would you have for somebody that wanted to start something that they feel is too big to even imagine? What advice would you have?
I'm starting something new called Summer London, meaning sky. And things will be kind of coming under that, my new kind of Ramadan projects. And the reason why it's called that is because the sky's the limit, and we have to dream big. As people, we have to dream big. As Muslims, we have to dream big. And as Muslim women, we have to dream big. So don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Don't be worried. Don't be afraid of what people are going to think. If you have an idea, you can make it happen. You have to believe in yourself. And you have to believe in what you're doing. You have to love what you're doing, and you have to have a passion for it. And just don't stop. Dream big. Of course, we should all dream big. If I didn't dream big, we wouldn't have had any lights up at all.
Facts.
So yeah, just don't.
I just got S Club 7 in my head.
stop,
Never
moving.
give up. Hold your head high and reach the top.
That's a good song there. Bring it all back to
Bring
you.
it all back now. Okay, go on.
Yeah.
But no, agreed. No,
Don't
that's
give up.
fantastic advice because I'm taking that. Don't stop. Yeah, dream big. And why not? Who said? Who said you can't?
Don't let a man stop you.
No, do you know what it is? We're going to create our own. Aisha, we're going to create our own. We're going to create our own where we have like-minded women that support each other. Not just support each other by mouth. Do you know, I want exactly what you're talking about. I want us to have a space where we come together and we support each other financially.
Yeah.
We support each other. Do you know, with all the little things. Like, why? Why? I agree.
100%.
Yeah, we got this.
I did tear each other down. We're all doing good. We're all trying our best.
Do you know what it is? I feel like sometimes there is a scarcity mindset, right?
Yeah.
It's like sometimes when you see somebody doing a bit better, you're like, but no, there's enough for everybody.
Yeah.
If
Also, healthy competition is always good. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But just be nice.
It's so true. Be kind. I think that's what it is. Be kind.
Be kind, yeah.
But Aisha, thank you so much for squeezing us in.
No, thank you for having me.
Enjoy your trip back.
Thank you.
Enjoy your hubby.
Thank you. I will.
Yeah. And inshallah, we can't wait to see what you've got cooking for us.
I can't wait to see what you've got
Oh,
next.
babe, don't put pressure on me now.
And see all the other MWA podcasts.
I know. See, you're popping our cherry. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. No, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. That was an incredible discussion. I'm feeling inspired. I truly hope you're feeling inspired too. You can find this on our Spotify at at MWA Podcast. You can find us on our YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, all at Muslim Women Awards. Aisha, where can we find you?
Instagram and TikTok at Ramadan Lights UK.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and see you next time.